This video is sponsored by Skillshare. On December 3rd, AT&T went for the nuclear option and mandated Warner's entire 2021 slate be released straight to HBO Max, with a simultaneous, limited, and mostly symbolic theatrical release. The industry did not take kindly to that, not one bit. Filmmaker Christopher Nolan trashed them and called HBO Max the worst streaming service. Legendary may yet sue over Dune, and there are reports that both the agencies and the Directors Guild of America could decide to boycott Warner, hoping to make them reverse course. And if one guild goes for this, then before you know it, the other guilds could quickly follow suit. What is going on here is a real-time corporate Game of Thrones, and things are about to become interesting. In this editorial, I will cut through all the noise and in simple terms explain what is really going on here. What is motivating the three major conflicting parties, namely AT&T, the theater chains, and the agencies and various guilds. And finally, give some perspectives on who might have the better chance of winning the throne in the end. Now, I don't mean to jump to any premature conclusions here, but I will say right off the bat that this is a great time to get into the creative arts, or if you're already a professional within the creative industries, to further hone your craft and maybe pick up a new skill set. For instance, the business side of things. For that, Skillshare has you covered. Skillshare, this video sponsor, is an online learning community for creatives, where millions come together to take the next step in their creative journey. Skillshare offers thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people on topics including film and video production, creative writing, freelance and entrepreneurship, marketing, productions, and a whole range of other topics. Whether you already are a working creative, a dabbler, or just a curious lifelong learner, Skillshare has classes to fit your skill level and your schedule, as classes are under 60 minutes. They include a combination of video lessons and a class project, enable you to quickly acquire new skills. Access to Skillshare costs less than $10 a month with an annual subscription, but since they sponsor this video, we naturally have a deal for you. The first 1,000 of our subscribers to click the link in the description will get a free trial of Skillshare Premium membership, so you can explore your creativity. With that, let's get back to the main topic at hand and start exploring the three main parties and their motivations and what all of this is ultimately all about. As a result of previous policies and decisions made over the course of the past 2 decades, the entertainment landscape is right now in the process of a reconfiguration, a reset, if you will. Traditionally, physical media, TV licensing deals, and a variety of other distribution models meant that there was some level of room on the playing field for every production company, even the smaller independent ones. But what is in the process of happening right now is that the physical media is being phased out, TV licensing deals become smaller and less lucrative, while the market consolidates around a few streaming giants. In a few years from now, the haves of the entertainment industry will be the owners of those streaming platforms, while the have-nots will be everyone else, who will be mere content creators, dependent on the haves for distribution. Many of the established studios today, especially the mini-majors, will descend into have-not territory. They will either have to slim down their operations, be acquired by someone else, or shut down, as the environment that they were evolved for is disappearing around them. The Murdochs saw this coming. They knew that in order to stay competitive within and on top of the entertainment industry, they would have to make investments that they simply weren't willing or able to make. So they sold off the entire entertainment division of their Fox Corporation to Disney, while they restructured their remaining operations around news and sports. By contrast, Disney had nothing else to fall back on. Entertainment is their business, so they acquired Fox in order to fortify their position for what they knew would come. In order to remain a have, they needed more content, more branded content, for their upcoming streaming service. There's a ton of streaming services out there. Every also-ran is making one, trying to stay in the game. But just look at your own household. How many different streaming platforms can you have? 10? 5? 3? 1? That number may vary from household to household, but what will separate the haves from the have-nots of the entertainment industry of tomorrow will be being the owner of one of those single-digit platforms that you just can't do without. Netflix grosses more than $20 billion a year, and every single competitor to the throne thinks that if they win out, they can do as good or better than that. That is the endgame here, and that is what the streaming wars is all about. Each service making themselves a must-have service before they're left behind in the dust. That is one of the main reasons why AT&T acquired Warner to begin with. They already provide the infrastructure for streaming, but they also want to be a contender in what that streaming infrastructure is used for. With the endgame established, let's explore why it was not Disney, another contender to the throne, but AT&T and Warner that pressed the nuclear button on behalf of HBO Max. First of all, AT&T are in debt, and lots of it. Buying the entirety of Warner Media isn't a cheap venture. Warner has a number of movies that under other circumstances probably would have been billion-dollar blockbusters, such as Wonder Woman 84, Dune, and the upcoming Matrix 4. And that would have greatly contributed towards reducing AT&T's burden of debt. But then there was the coup. It left the studios with a bunch of would-be blockbusters scaled for wide theatrical release in a marketplace without theaters to release them in. We are told that mass vaccination is just over the horizon, so AT&T could have made the case to their funding partners that if they just proceeded with their plans to push things back a few months more, they could release all of these movies in theaters. I mean, they had pushed Dune back to October anyway, so why not stick with that? Some believe that things will be back to the way they were by then, so why would they leave hundreds of million or even billions of box office dollars on the table by committing their slate for the entire year to HBO Max? Well, keep in mind, the streaming service HBO Max is probably the main reason why AT&T acquired Warner to begin with, and make no mistake about it. AT&T CEO John Stankey and his enforcer-in-chief Jason Kilar are the ones behind every single decision that is being attributed to Warner, and they are all in on HBO Max being a hit. That is what Stankey's leadership is all about. Again, this is a Game of Thrones of the entertainment industry that we are witnessing, and the challenge facing AT&T is that right now, they are not a contender for the throne. Right now, Netflix is the king of the hill. Disney Plus is crawling towards the top, but still has a ways to go. And that is where HBO Max should be as well. But it's not. Instead, they botched everything, from clear branding to launch. So HBO Max is right now at the bottom, in competition with CBS All Access. And that is such a failure that parent company ViacomCBS will rebrand and relaunch it as Paramount Plus. To AT&T, that's untenable, so they made the strategic decision to recategorize their entire 2021 slate from would-be blockbusters to loss leaders, which is what they'll be now. AT&T will have to incur tremendous losses in the form of unrealized theatrical earnings, and this will add to their already considerable debt. But they'll do it to get HBO Max back in the race. Because if they can make that one of the streaming services everyone must have, they'll earn back the short-term losses they now have to incur many times over in the long run. As such, the theaters are out of luck. The theater chains talked a big game when Universal put Trolls 2 straight to streaming earlier this year. And they talk a big game right now, threatening Warner with if they go ahead and release their upcoming movies on HBO Max day and date with the theatrical premiere, well then those movies won't be shown in theaters at all. How do you like them apples? To which AT&T, in an imaginary conversation, would respond, well, we've already redesignated all of those movies as loss leaders anyway, and we only put them in theaters because our prior deals with production companies such as Legendary say we have to. But hey, if you don't want to show them, that's on you. We're in the clear, and our movies are even more exclusive to HBO Max, so that works fine for us, thank you very much. So really, all the theater chains can do is posture before crying and begging AT&T to please reverse course before they give Disney ideas. And if Disney follows suit, that's the end for theater chains. Not the Alamo draft houses of the world. Their businesses may see an upswing, but the theater chains today would be done for. That would mean no more billion-dollar blockbusters. Yeah, the studios would miss those. But you know what? The future haves of the film industry, the owners of the dominant streaming platforms, would much rather have a reliable $20 billion plus a year in subscription fees all for them, than having to share the receipts of a couple of billion-dollar grossers with the theaters. So really, for all their posturing, the theater chains are but helpless witnesses to what's going on here. But then there's the agencies representing the talent, and the various guilds representing the writers, directors, and producers, and they are in league with each other. The agents and the guilds make up the establishment of the movie and TV industry. They're also the gatekeepers of it, as no one can really do anything without their involvement. And as an artist, you can't really get anywhere without their affiliation and the costs that go with that. Now, it's not for me to say whether or not that is good or bad. Cases can be made for both points of view, but for the purposes of this discussion, there you have a swamp that will resist anything that can threaten their power. And here's the thing, they saw this move to streaming coming as well. They saw how it would affect the studios. But I'm not sure all the agents and guilds fully realized how it might affect them, and to me at least, they seem to be a little bit in denial about it. This was made apparent from Deadline Hollywood's hit piece on AT&T, the one headlined by Christopher Nolan trashing HBO Max. But much more interestingly than Nolan's choice of words, that article revealed that all the agents and lawyers and guilds, everyone whose business is built around the current model, are up in arms. One particularly telling segment from that article reads, one prominent agent notes that the top executives at Warner Media and its parent, AT&T CEO John Stankey, Warner Media CEO Jason Kilar, and of course Sarnoff, don't understand the movie business, and they don't understand talent relations. While Kilar pays what is seen as lip service to movies. Industry veterans say Warner's is sacrificing the huge profit that comes from selling movies in multiple formats and on multiple platforms around the world. Even before Warner's made its play, there was grumbling among agents that Sarnoff, who has been on the job for more than a year, had yet to get acquainted with key players on the film side or make much of an impression at all. That, of course, is Hollywood speak, written by an entertainment journalist quoting an entertainment incumbent addressing other incumbents. What they're really saying is, we run this show, and we have a certain way of doing things. These outsiders barged in, and they didn't pay us the proper respect we demand. Worse yet, by going direct to consumer, they're removing every layer in between that we profit from, so of course you realize this means war. If you go against the swamp fights back, and that's what this is. So, how will all of this go? This can go many different ways. AT&T have already made their play, so now it's up to the agencies and the guilds how they will respond. If they respond by uniting, then AT&T and Warner are going to have a problem, and under normal circumstances they wouldn't have a chance. But these aren't normal circumstances, and the fact of the matter is that for each day the current situation rages on, the less likely the earlier theatrical distribution model is to return. Also, AT&T didn't acquire Warner and do all the moves they have done just to be thwarted by the establishment of a status quo that is going out the window. Not when their goal is to make themselves the establishment of a new status quo. We have heard that AT&T are hoping that Disney will follow suit. That would make things so much easier for them. But even if Disney won't, yet anyway, Even if the agencies and guilds present a united front against AT&T, they only have to convince one to break ranks by offering them a better deal. Let's say a direct-to-agent or direct-to-artist deal, and the rest will follow suit. I don't know who will win this particular Game of Thrones, but I do think it will offer many new opportunities and may even remove some of the gatekeepers to entry. This is a very interesting time in the entertainment industry, and I think an excellent opportunity to enter it. Let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comments. And remember to click the link in the description so you too can explore your creativity and be among the 1,000 to get a free trial of premium Skillshare membership.